What's the example? I'm not.
The rape of your daughter.
No, no, no.
Because
Hold on. I'm coming. I'm going right across the board. You know. I'm not. I am not.
I
I am
would
not
humbly
suggesting.
start with your example. Where you coming? Mine is
I don't
just
know.
that your one was
I don't know.
well.
I think they really need to speak a little bit because I believe that for some unknown reason, here's where I'm going to go. Here's where I'm going to go. Well, I'd throw the question out, in this sense, and I'm sure that lady is saying something right now. I just don't hear it yet. That's
We're about to.
Yeah.
well, all right. Well, here is all right. So we are looking at the principle of what the government is doing, and of course, we are also thinking about the idea that you know uh,
I would say that it is news time, not almost. We're 1 minute
well
over
well
news.
let's fix this. Let's fix this.
Mhm.
We have a 16-year-old child who
No.
has gotten pregnant, and let's look at this, and women's right movement is saying I have right over my body to do with it whatever the child, whatever that is you know let me ask the question: what would be a reasonable fix for that problem?
Well, may I raise my objection again that you're using the example? I
No, no, no. What without
know
raising
that
the objection, without
question
raising the
should be
objection.
asked of you. So your daughter
But
got
this is
raped.
going to answer. This is
No,
going to
no, no.
answer the question.
Your daughter got raped. What should govern her making a decision to expel? Well, not even her, because it's you decide. You just decided for her now that,
Yeah.
and you didn't mention the age. So whatever age she
It,
is,
it
she's
didn't matter. It didn't matter what age she was. She could have been 40
yes,
years of age. It don't
yes,
matter.
and she's raped. You as
Yeah.
daddy has made a decision
I
that
said. I said my personal feelings and how I feel. I said it earlier. But here's the question. I said my personal feelings is what my child was in a situation where, and yeah, let's look at a 16-year-old child who possibly would have gotten that
okay,
happened to her.
your daughter is 16-year-old. Michael,
Let's
go right
let's say
ahead.
let's say let's say all right. But no, no, but this is it. This question must be answered. Here's the question. Our listeners are waiting for the answer for this question. This is the answer. This is the answer that they are waiting for this answer.
Right. Michael, 16-year
So
old was raped.
right, but then we're going to answer the question first.
Yeah.
Here's a 16-year-old who is pregnant now, not being raped, and actually got pregnant because she engaged in and have sex with somebody. What would be the course of action that would be the right course of action? What would be
But
that?
first of all, she had no intention of being a mother. She was just
Okay,
her immature state. She's uh, going through the wells of puberty. Her all
right,
of these are changing. She doesn't know what's going on, and there's this strength of passion that is coming from where she didn't even know it existed, and she now encounters somebody, and it is through the roof. And in
all right.
her mind, it had nothing to do with
Here
the
is here is
consequences
here is.
of
I got you.
unprotected. So,
All
so
right.
again, even thinking about all of that. She was
The
in the
answer,
moment, and so therefore it went on.
you answered the question correctly, Karen. Thank you for the answer for that question. The answer for the question, I'll share it with you very quickly. The Bible teaches, and this is for the Christian church, the people who are not of the Christian church cannot share this view. But if they share this view, praise be to God. All right? This is not a discussion that must be had with people who are outside of the Christian faith because they are not capable of actually understanding it in this way. Now, for those who do understand it, hold on, I made a statement that exclude people who would have been well thinkers, who would have been better thinkers than even the persons in church, so to speak. But I use this concept to say, I am not going to engage in this conversation with persons outside of the church because I know that their system of thinking would not be aligned with the Bible. You get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't try to have that as a conversation. But within God's church, I would have the conversation because we'd have been aligned with God's principles and biblical principles. And so with having said that, now here is a problem that you just raised, that the young lady would not have a clue about how she should behave or what should happen. The Bible says that the women of the church should teach young women and children. That's a very important piece of the woman's responsibility within the faith of Christ. So we are going to look at the church now in a short order to say where this problem would lie. Teaching young women how to take care of themselves, teaching young men how to take care of themselves, women and children, which include men and boys and girls, right? And other women. Teach your women how to behave, how you should behave, how you should be trained to become a wife, or you should be trained to become a good mother, or you should be trained to be a good person within society, or execute your duties as what you call a meaningful person within society, right? Engaging in positive activities. This young lady that you're talking about, at 16, the rule is she should not be engaging in sex at all. So if she didn't want to get pregnant, sex should not be the thing. And an abortion is not a contraceptive, right? So that's where that conversation should go. And I want to make it clear that anybody who thinks outside of that would not be using the Bible as their own as a principle of it, and we would come up with our own thoughts. I'm going to answer my question now. And they would come up.
Before you move on to your question, because I would like to. I'm sorry, Elise.
Let me just finish my point and say the question. Answer it quickly so we don't come back to it. No, let me say it. Let me just say it. It's going to take less than a minute to say it. So for the point of me wanting to exonerate my daughter if she got raped, my child, if she was in a situation of a rape situation, to basically kill the child, abort the child, and I go basically rip it out myself if it was possible, if I had the ability to do it, I would, in my mind. I would go everything against God's word, even in that case, because it would have been my personal view to do it. The Bible would not support me on that. So I would go directly against God's word in doing the very thing. Because I'm angry and upset about it, I do it. You know? So that's where I would lay my arguments there so we don't have any twisted conversation. I don't want to, run it over. So I'm going to leave it there. And of course, just put my point there to say that's where my position would be. But go ahead, Karen.
I'm not going to anything except to allow Lady Elise to play the news. I will respond after, if you don't mind.
No, trust me. I would have preferred you answered no, and then we'd have had it in one place, and then we would go to the news. But I guess we go to the news and then we come back. I don't think we're going to come back so easily to this conversation because the news will take us somewhere else.
You're setting it up like that? If I don't answer no, I don't get a chance to?
No, I'm not saying that. I say it's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying that we won't come back to it. But there have been some hot topics in the news that we
But
might
are
want
you
to talk about.
suggesting that I will not be here after the news?
I never said that. There may be something that comes
No,
up in the news that you
okay.
want to talk about.
Sorry. I am being quiet because I am feeling very passionate about the
All
position
right.
that I'm being placed in right now.
No, I'm sorry. Listen what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, I mean, if now is a good time to say what you're saying because we are on the platform talking about the topic, so we don't fragment
We
it
will
and when we
still
come
be
back
on the
again,
topic.
it
Okay,
might be a little disjointing. I'm not saying it might be okay to make the point. No, I'm not going to say anything else
May I
after that. I
remind
suppose.
you that you brought up what happened yesterday, as in the 45,000 denominations. Today, that was this, and you're saying you
All right,
cannot
let's go to the
revisit a
news.
conversation 5 minutes after.
Now, the news is brought to us by a side ultrasound for ultrasound needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. Of course, when we come back, we'll have this very heated conversation. Of course, very well needed one. And of course, our listeners and our viewers are benefiting from it. I want to thank all our sponsors this morning for the breakfast hour for sponsoring this amazing, amazing show. Over to you, Lady Elise.
Their ability to enhance person will be mostly mentioned. So what can we expect to see over the next 4 years and how will this impact the Cayman Islands? In sport, the Cayman Islands men's national football team is gearing up for its crucial Cup Federation match against Guadeloupe, set for Friday, November 15th. With a chance to secure a place in the 2025 CONCACAF World Cup. Players remain optimistic despite being labeled as underdogs. That trend.
Perfect. I will make one statement. I am allowed. It is that the contraceptive for the rape victim could be self-defense or potential rape victim. So just as how a 16-year-old is encouraged to have contraceptive to prevent pregnancy, could it be that women should be equipped with self-defense mechanism to ward off any potential rape that would lead to them being impregnated? That's my one statement.
Well, and I would say this. I would say this to you, Curly Corinne, that I took it as a personal duty to train my daughters in self-defense.
So you're saying
no. Here's where I'm going. I'm gonna say to you that I would have taken a special effort in training my children in self-defense, really, and teaching them how to defend themselves from different situations. More than likely, what our self-defense work is. Self-defense work more in this sense. Many people think that self-defense is in the combating of somebody, but self-defense works easier when you are able to discern a possible situation that may occur which would cause harm to you quicker than other times. There are some that you can't see because you basically walk into it because you might be in there blind. For example, you're traveling in a motor vehicle and somebody driving through a community and somebody just block the road and just stop the car. If the driver who is driving the car is not able to maneuver himself or herself properly, then you can be in a situation, right? So there are unforeseen things that can happen. You're traveling on a bus and robbers come on the bus and decide to rob the bus, and all this can happen. But in even any of these situations, you have to apply different methods, right? So top one on it is to be able to identify dangerous situations and avoid it first. Unavoidable situations where you find yourself in the middle of it and you have to now come out of it, then there are methods that are taught that may result in persons being injured, including yourself, when trying to escape from a violent situation. Because there are some violent situations that there's no option but to fight. And so when there's no option but to fight, then that's what you have to do. But this is something that I would have taught. I would have given the tools for that to happen. So it's not on that premise. But the premise that I actually engaged in is an unfortunate situation where somebody is pounced upon and have been in a situation versus a person who would just be a willing participant in what you call a lifestyle, everyday life, and would have been an ingrained kind of mental, ingrained thoughts or behavior in people. So a young lady at 16 being pregnant because she is engaging in lifestyle or explorations and navigation of life.
Well, I would say it's still training, So if you apply the same concept of
you're right.
Hold on now. If you apply the same concept of self-defense, the schools have counselors, and I believe, I don't know if it still is, where they teach young students at 13 and beyond about their bodies, about what to expect. So in my mind, it is a self-defense mechanism so that when these hormones are at its peak and it's raging, they will be able to defend themselves from themselves by being aware of it and making sure that if they are engaging, and I mean that's another conversation whether they should be engaging or not. But another
the conversation must be had. You could have that conversation
is to prevent any repercussions that they are not prepared for. So the self-defense is in my mind is being aware of it and being able to take the necessary steps to prevent any outcome that they do not want on the moment. So if it's about the moment, let's make sure it stick to the moment. So that would
here is a lot of prevention that you can look at, and one of the biggest prevention is the not sustenance is what we want to
abstinence.
Right. Abstinence. Sorry, abstinence is what we want to teach, and of course, here is the answer to the question for you.
Please.
If it's not being taught, then the poor child is at a disadvantage.
In both circumstances, so if the child, if the
we can't.
self-awareness.
But you're right. You are very right. So here's where the violation starts. The society and parenting, by and large, is one of the two, has been responsible for their children's well-being and safety. And by our negligence and what you'd call our mishandling of trust, these kids that are handed to us, and not teaching them and giving them the proper tools, and telling them that anything can work, then we would have been responsible for their safety and would have been the ones at fault. In a lot of ways, because they would have gone out there believing that legalizing abortion is the birth control that they must use, instead of teaching them that you shouldn't be engaging in sexual activity, and then create a society that has a cultural heritage of knowing the responsibility and the what you call the benefit of being a virgin at marriage. This is something that is not being taught anymore. In fact, what is being taught in today's society is that being a virgin is considered pedophilia, pedophilia, because you are somebody. If a man wants a virgin, he wants a child. That's what is being taught today in today's society. So yes, the violence on the child is the same as a rape, but the violence on the adults who would have enacted laws to allow children to participate in activities that they should be participating in, and then have placed them in dangerous positions. And now we want to create laws that would allow them to further cause more harm to themselves and others. The unborn child.
I will agree. I will agree with you. And to Lady Elise's point, that I will be simmered and agree with you.
No. Is that a simmered?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm agreeing with her. So my final point would be that parents should hold true to their responsibility of training their children or educating their children, whether it is in relation to protecting themselves either through self-defense or protecting themselves either through awareness of what their bodies are likely to happen at certain time, and so that their consciousness is going to guide them in how they exist. So a female who is going on the road, regardless of her age, is going to be able to protect herself in the event that she's attacked. A young girl who is not fully understanding of what's going on with her body, by being aware, is going to protect herself from a situation that can get out of hand. So I will agree that it lands with the parents.
Here's a statement I want to say to you, Lady Crowley, how important mothers are and how important the Christian church is. And what I started off the conversation to say is that there's a great responsibility that women are shirking within the Christian church to train women and children. It is unlikely for me to, if I have a situation, even with my private parts, for my father to be looking at it. But my mother would be, for me, would be, it is easier for my mother to, if my father tried to do it, I feel violated. But if my mother tried to do it as a young boy, it would be fine because this is where it works. So the responsibility of mothering a woman teaching in the church, which should be the salt on the what you call the example of the world, and of course how we should allow train our young people, lies with our women, right? This is something that we should affect the change within society. That what societal norm is, it shouldn't come in the church to affect the church, but the church norm should affect the society, right? But we have seen the reverse so far. Until we get to the point of this concept that I'm teaching, that our women must be the ones who train our young children and our women, then this is going to be the conversation for the rest of our life, and we'll never get it right. My mother, as I said before, would be more likely to look at me as a young boy and examine me without me feeling violated. And I want to highlight the responsibility and this very extreme important role that women play in our society. When it is easy for a woman, hold on. It is easy for the woman to cross the children, the young girl, train them in the way that they should actually behave, which in retrospect would have given the society the teaching and culturing that it would need. So it wouldn't be a sense that men are teaching this and women are teaching. It would be a cohesive training, because this is how it works. Women are the first teachers of the home, and it's a great responsibility placed on our women of our society and of our church, especially. That's where it is really lying. That is where it is really placed in our society today, right? And when that is not happening, then the result of it is what you are looking at today.
My question to you is, I can't leave it where it is and placed it on the table. So it seems to me you made it very clear that as a father, you would be the one to train your daughter for self-defense. Are you therefore saying that it's really the mother who should have done that?
No, I'm not saying that. Okay. But self-defense is, I talked about the self-defense in mental capacities. The self-defense is not a mother or a father's responsibility. Both persons or society. Look, if you look at the westernized culture of marriage, and when we talk about these things, we can't talk about them outside the concept of marriage, because in the westernized culture, we believe that anything goes. In the easternized culture, every young woman is trained or groomed. Now, this is the word. I'm going to choose this word carefully. Groomed towards marriage. And so marriage in that culture is a very important aspect of those people's lives. And so anything tarnish that, any blemish on the marriage concept would damage the fabric of the society. Now you're looking at a society that don't believe in marriage while speaking so much about it, that they would put so many things in there that would damage marriages and want to uphold it. You know, so you're speaking through one side of your mouth one thing, and through the other side you're doing every arm to it. So if that's how you're going to have the conversation, that's the wholesomeness of the conversation. It has
so you're saying that Western.
Yes.
I would just ask, it seems to me that Elder Michael is suggesting that Eastern culture got it right in terms of how their child grooming is being done, and the Western society is not doing it correct. So I would maybe glean that I should migrate to the Eastern society. And that's my final thought on it.
Well, Lady Ellis, there was a topic I wanted to talk about on the news that was there before you share the community notice board. The sexist cabinet that is in Cayman.
Huh? Which news item was that?
Don't you never hear about the sexist cabinet in Cayman? The cabinet, the sexistness in the cabinet that is happening now. You never hear about it? It's in the news. We just read it a while ago. I was trying to ascertain what
the person resigned and that they had issues with cohesion, and you're saying you landed on the sexist part of it?
No, the word sexist came out. If you read back, if you listen to the news again,
But
the
it
word
says
sexist was
one of the
no,
issues.
it says yeah, but it says sexist and cohesion and sexist can come together at any point.
No, they were saying lack of cohesion.
I know, but I'm saying it also had the word sexist in there.
So what? Okay, so please elaborate on what and how it.
No, I am yet to ascertain. No, I just added here to say what could be. I just wanted to drop it here to say what could be the sexist connotations, and of course they had also at the Trump administration. How would it affect the Cayman Islands and the Trump administration? Well, one thing for sure, it would affect the gay rights movement immensely within the Trump administration in the Cayman Islands. And I can go right to those things right away.
The news spoke about tariffs and the fact that implementing it will increase the price of things. That's where the news went.
Well, all right. So the Trump administration will affect the Cayman Islands as well as every other aspect, every other country in the world. And it will do just that. Yeah. That is. You know,
Let me just share just two additional items, just to remind persons that Pirates Week culminates this Saturday night. Well, it continues the whole week, but it culminates Saturday night with a grand uh, fireworks display as well as activities throughout the day. Also, Newlands Seventh day Adventist Church is preparing to host their campaign, which begins next week, which is the 23rd of November. And the theme is Hope for the Coming Crisis. The evangelist is Vaughn Henry, and the series continues until the 7th of December, 7:15 nightly, 9:30 on Saturdays, and rest night Thursday. So just advising persons that we're very much in campaign mode in the Cayman Islands, various districts, churches having their series, their campaigns, and we're inviting everyone to participate, to go out, bring a friend. Again, the idea is you can reach one by sharing, and this is an opportunity to allow them access to the Word of God.
well, Lady Lisa, I would ask if you could repeat the ad on the church for those tickets, where persons can get tickets and the events that are coming up, and of course the Pastor Appreciation Day, because I think I missed some of that, and probably some of our listeners may want to get a highlight on it, because I'm sure that many persons would want to be at those events. Of course, Flashpoint would really love to be there as well. Of course, our team would certainly benefit from one of those evenings of letting your hair down and relaxing, you know, and enjoying a nice light evening with, of course, our lovely friends. But of course, we want to thank, for those persons who will be coming out to join some of those meetings and, of course, be a part of some of those events. We are thankful that you have already considered the idea of doing so. Of course, so many things are happening. Women's Convention, of course, is on the rise. And, of course, we talked about that. I think we have that on our community notice board as well. Right.
And it continues tonight and culminates tomorrow as well.
Right, it goes through. So we are asking persons to go out and support the
events
this weekend, and of course be a part of these great experiences. Of course, that's all I got. I have nothing more. I want to say thank our listeners this morning for joining us this morning. Of course, Cody Karen, we had a good conversation this morning. This conversation is a real rich one, and it makes a lot of questions, and a lot of answers would come for some people, but still make more questions for others. Right or wrong, the biblical principle of it is, a life is not considered.
Yeah.
The biblical
Biblical
principle of it
principle. Sound. Very
is that
sound.
is that God considers the life even before you are born. So anything to destroy a life in any stage, any place, is actually against God's will. Now, we have identified the idea that there are circumstances that mitigates some things, and we as human beings would operate in that way for protecting our children and protecting our families. And let's use the Bible as our guide. That's what I would say, and make good choices.
And I will endorse that by wishing every single one of you a fabulous, fabulous Friday. It is the day that the Lord has made, and we are to appreciate each moment, but importantly, make sure you impact somebody's life positively today. And it could be as simple as smiling. A simple act of smiling can make a world of difference for somebody else. And that could be enough to make it a fantastic Friday for someone else.
No sound. No sound. No sound. No sound. I want to say to all our listeners this morning, of course, we want to say, have a God blessed day today, and of course, just keep it locked right here on Flashpoint. Of course, join us on our radio at